There existed a chapter in time when the person meant for you allowed their ego and foolishness to cast shadows over their better judgment. In those moments saturated with pride and an almost stubborn refusal to see clearly, they made choices that created distance between you. They blocked your number, deliberately ignored your calls, and chose the cold comfort of silence over the warmth of genuine conversation. Each decision to turn away was like building another brick in a wall that should never have existed. Every single time you reached out with hope flickering in your heart, hoping for even the smallest acknowledgement, the tiniest sign that you still mattered to them, they turned away. They averted their gaze from the truth standing right before them. What they failed to comprehend in those clouded moments was the profound and deep pain their actions were inflicting upon you. They could not see the silent suffering of someone whose only desire was to bridge the growing distance, to reach across the void and touch the connection that once felt so alive and vibrant between you. You waited with remarkable patience, your heart holding on to hope like a lifeline, believing that they might eventually unblock you, that they might call back, or that they would at least show some indication, however small, that you still held meaning in their world. But as the days gradually turned into weeks, and those weeks stretched into months, something profound began to shift within you. You began to understand something critically important about yourself and your worth. You came to realize that you could no longer permit another person's indecision and emotional immaturity to dictate your peace of mind, to control the rhythm of your days, or to determine the quality of your inner life. Out of this deeply painful experience came a remarkable transformation, one that would reshape the very foundation of how you approached love, connection, and self-worth. You chose to retreat, but not in defeat or surrender. No, you retreated in strength, in wisdom, in self-preservation. You made the conscious decision to reserve your precious energy, to keep your heart and your emotions carefully guarded until someone proved themselves truly worthy of them. You realized with crystal clarity that boundaries were not walls constructed from bitterness or resentment, but rather necessary lines drawn firmly in the sand of self-respect. The act of setting limits became your way of protecting the hard-won calm you had fought so courageously to regain after enduring years of disruption. Years caused by people who took without giving, by circumstances that seemed designed to test you, and by situations that had systematically drained your spirit until you felt like an empty vessel. For the first time in what felt like forever, you made a conscious, deliberate choice to prioritize yourself and your own needs above the unpredictable whims of others. This fundamental shift in perspective was far from easy. It required courage, determination, and an unwavering commitment to your own well-being. But it was undeniably powerful. You began the patient work of rebuilding your life piece by careful piece, focusing intently on inner balance and mental clarity. In doing so, you discovered a truth that had been waiting for you all along. Your happiness should never hinge solely on another person's actions or approval. Your joy should not be held hostage by someone else's choices. Slowly but surely, your days became noticeably lighter. Your thoughts grew clearer, more focused, more aligned with your authentic self. And your heart, that tender organ that had been so bruised and battered, became stronger than it had ever been before. You moved forward with a newfound grace and quiet confidence, embodying a dignified presence that could not be shaken by external circumstances or the opinions of others. And though your person once took your love completely for granted, treating it as something that would always be available no matter how poorly they behaved, they now look at you with genuine astonishment. They cannot ignore the remarkable resilience and the profound beauty evident in the way you have carried yourself through this trial by fire. From their side of this divide, much has shifted and changed as well. The distance and silence that once seemed comfortable to them, that once felt like a refuge from responsibility, have now transformed into a source of deep and gnawing regret. They find themselves waiting, sometimes with growing impatience, for any chance to hear your voice again, to see your face, to exchange even a few simple words that might begin the delicate process of mending what was so carelessly broken. In the quiet chambers of their heart, they long intensely to send that message, to make that call, or to arrange that face-to-face meeting where everything that pulled you apart can finally be laid to rest and examined in the light of truth. They desperately want to tell you the truth that has been burning inside them. That their love was always present, always steady, always real and authentic. But what they lacked, what they failed to demonstrate, was commitment. They now see with painful clarity that love without action is merely a pleasant sentiment. Affection without loyalty is tragically incomplete and ultimately unsustainable. What hurt you most profoundly was not the absence of love itself, but rather the absence of consistent effort, of genuine responsibility, and of heartfelt sincerity in their actions toward you. The separation has served as a stern but effective teacher for them. Where once they prioritized ego, allowed themselves to be pulled away by distractions, or permitted external influences to guide their decisions, they now see clearly what truly matters. The connection they share with you is no longer something they can casually dismiss or set aside lightly as if it were insignificant. They realize with growing conviction that it is not just meaningful but absolutely essential, an irreplaceable part of their life and their envisioned future. They understand now that they cannot take you for granted again because the very thought of losing you completely, of never having another chance, has shaken them to their core. As they reflect on the past with eyes newly opened, they find themselves overwhelmed by a complex mixture of guilt and intense longing. They understand now that your silence is not born from indifference or lack of caring, but from self-preservation. They know you needed to create distance to heal your wounds, to regain your balance, and to protect yourself from further disappointment and heartache. And in many ways, they genuinely admire you for having the strength to do what was necessary for your well-being. Where they once acted recklessly and without consideration, you responded with remarkable strength. Where they faltered and stumbled, you chose growth and evolution. Where they ran from responsibility like children avoiding consequences, you learned to stand tall and firm for yourself. Now, as they watch you move forward with purpose and direction, they experience both fear and admiration in equal measure. Fear that they may have lost you forever, that the damage done may be irreparable. And admiration for the truly remarkable way you have transformed yourself through this ordeal. It is precisely this duality, this push and pull of conflicting emotions, that compels them to reconsider their past actions and to think carefully and deliberately about how to approach you again, if such an opportunity should arise. They are beginning to realize, perhaps for the first time, that apologies alone are woefully insufficient. Pretty words spoken without backing mean nothing. Words must be supported and validated by genuine change, and promises must be honored consistently by concrete action. Empty declarations of intent hold no value without the follow-through that demonstrates true commitment. In your own personal journey through this experience, you too have gained invaluable clarity and wisdom. You have learned that love should never, ever come at the cost of your self-respect and dignity. You have learned that patience should never be confused with tolerating neglect or accepting mistreatment. You understand deeply now that boundaries are actually an act of profound self-love, and that by setting them clearly and maintaining them consistently, you ensure that peace of mind becomes your priority rather than an occasional luxury. This newfound wisdom has not only put your life back on track, steering it in a direction aligned with your authentic values, but has also given you the inner strength to move forward confidently without depending on anyone else's validation or approval. You have learned to be your own source of affirmation and worth. Your person, on the other hand, is still in the process of catching up to these truths that you have already integrated. They want desperately to rebuild what was broken, to reconcile the differences that drove you apart, and to prove through their actions that they can meet you with the devotion and dedication you truly deserve. Whether or not you ultimately choose to allow them back into your life, to give them another chance to demonstrate their growth, is a decision that belongs only to you. No one else can make this choice for you, and no one else should try to influence it. But what remains absolutely certain is this fundamental truth. The separation has profoundly changed both of you in ways that will reverberate through the rest of your lives. It has brought you strength you did not know you possessed, independence that empowers rather than isolates, and a peace that runs deeper than mere absence of conflict. While simultaneously, it has brought them much-needed perspective, deep regret for their actions, and a full realization of your true worth and value. At the very heart of it all lies a powerful and universal reminder that echoes through every meaningful relationship. Love may indeed be constant, an eternal flame that burns regardless of circumstances. But it is commitment, respect, and consistent effort that keep that flame alive and burning brightly. Your person finally sees this essential truth with clarity, even if it required distance, silence, and the very real risk of losing you forever for them to recognize and accept it. I find myself in a state of not knowing who you are with at this very moment or what activities might be filling your time right now. And that uncertainty lingers persistently in my mind like a constant echo that I cannot silence no matter how I try. It reverberates through my thoughts during the day and whispers to me in the quiet hours of night. It is as though there is a part of me, some essential piece of my being, perpetually reaching out across time and space, trying desperately to grasp you across this invisible distance that separates us. Yet all I feel in return is a profound emptiness where your presence used to reside so comfortably. This absence is honestly bothering me far more than I can fully express in mere words. Because everything about you, every single aspect of who you are, has woven itself so deeply and intricately into the very fabric of my life that I cannot imagine the tapestry without you. Please, if you possibly can, if your heart and circumstances allow, come back online. Come back to me. I miss you so intensely, so completely. Every moment without you feels exponentially longer than it should, as if time itself has slowed to torture me with your absence. Even the simplest, most mundane parts of my day feel somehow incomplete and hollow without you. I know deep down in my soul that you are staying away on purpose, that this is a deliberate choice you have made. I can sense it with an intuition that goes beyond rational explanation. Maybe it is because you need space to breathe, to think, or time to figure things out for yourself. Maybe it is because you are protecting yourself from something painful, or perhaps even protecting me from myself. And while it is incredibly hard, while my heart physically aches with the weight of missing you, I respect you enough to give you all the space and time you need without pressure or demands. I am not here to push or pull you against your will, to corner you with the intensity of my love, or to make you feel suffocated or trapped by my emotions. I have learned valuable lessons from my past mistakes, from the times I acted out of insecurity or fear, and I absolutely do not want to repeat those same destructive patterns that caused harm before. The truth that I need you to know is this. The very moment you send even the smallest signal, that tiny spark, that quiet whisper through the universe that you want me, that you are ready to move forward with me, I will be there without the slightest hesitation and without any resentment for the time that passed. I will be right there for you, standing beside you exactly where you need me. No questions asked about where you have been or what you have been doing. No conditions attached to my presence or my love. Just me, completely open and ready, because that is how deeply and profoundly I care about you. I have fallen in love with you, and it feels so incredibly good, so freeing and liberating to finally say these words without hiding behind walls of fear or pretense. This is not a fleeting crush that will fade with time or some momentary infatuation that burns bright and dies quickly. It is something authentically real, something deep that reaches into the very center of who I am as a person. And this time, I am consciously leaving behind all the obsession, the crippling insecurity, and the toxic behaviors that once held me back or made me act out of fear rather than love. I am not proud of every choice I have made along this journey. I have stumbled, I have fallen, I have made mistakes that I wish I could undo. But I am genuinely proud of the growth I am actively embracing, of the person I am becoming through this process. I am learning, changing, and healing intentionally because I want you in front of me as my present and future, not behind me as merely a memory or a lingering regret of what might have been. You are my only and true love. This is not hyperbole or romantic exaggeration. You are not a placeholder keeping a space warm until someone else comes along. You are not a passing chapter in a longer book that will eventually be forgotten. You are the one who feels like the entire story, the beginning, middle, and ending all wrapped into one significant narrative. I feel you in so many ways, experiencing you even deeper than before. It is not just conscious thoughts about you or nostalgic memories of times we shared. It is almost as if my heart knows instinctively where yours is, even when I cannot physically see you or be near you. There is a connection between us that I genuinely cannot explain to anyone else because it is unlike anything I have ever known or experienced before in my life. I have been listening intently to twin flame readings, diving deep into the profound meanings of soul connections, and even reading articles and books about spiritual bonds that transcend the ordinary. I have been searching on Google, reading extensively, and absorbing everything I can possibly find on the subject. And it has opened my eyes to so much understanding that was previously hidden from me. It has helped me see that what we have is not ordinary or common, and this realization has given me tremendous comfort during moments when the distance feels unbearable and crushing. Every single time I write something or listen to something about these kinds of deep connections, I think of you. I think of us as a unit, as a partnership. I see our unique journey reflected clearly in those words and ideas, and it gives me genuine hope for what could be. And if I am being completely honest with you now, holding nothing back, I have to admit something that might surprise you. I know a lot about you, far more than I ever let on, even though I acted like I didn't pay attention. That was a lie, a deliberate deception. Perhaps it was a defense mechanism designed to protect my vulnerable heart, or maybe it was a way of trying to shield myself from being too exposed and open to potential hurt. But the truth is this. I notice absolutely everything about you. I feel everything related to you with an intensity that sometimes overwhelms me. Even when you are silent and not communicating, even when you are distant and seem miles away, even when you are completely gone from my sight and I have no idea where you are, I know we share a powerful soul connection and telepathic bond with each other. Sometimes I will be going about my ordinary day, focused on mundane tasks and responsibilities, and suddenly a thought or feeling will rush in completely out of nowhere, arriving with unexpected force. And I just know, with absolute certainty, that it is from you. It is as if your emotions, your energy, your very essence travels across miles, across oceans, across whatever physical or metaphysical barriers separate us, just to reach me. And in those profound moments, I am reminded powerfully of how real this connection is, how undeniable, how extraordinarily powerful and rare. I have tried to fight it before, to resist its pull. I have tried to act like it was not actually happening, like it was all merely in my head, the product of wishful thinking or an overactive imagination. But I cannot do that anymore. I cannot deny what I know to be true. This connection, whatever it is in its essence, however it came to be formed, is bigger than both of us. It is bigger than my fears and insecurities, and it is bigger than my doubts and uncertainties about the future. And now, instead of running from it like I once did, instead of denying or minimizing it, I want to embrace it fully and completely. I am not perfect, far from it, but I am sincerely learning every day. I am not flawless or without faults, but I am genuinely trying to become better. And everything I am learning, every insight I gain, everything I am changing about myself, everything I am becoming through this transformative process, it is all because I want to meet you where you are. Not with control or manipulation, not with demands or ultimatums, but with love. Real, authentic love. Patient, understanding, steady love that endures through challenges. I do not know what is going on with you right now in your life, and I will not pretend to have that knowledge. But what I do know with complete certainty is that I love you. I am here for you. I am not going anywhere, no matter how long this takes. And when you are finally ready, truly ready in your heart and soul, I will be waiting with open arms, ready and willing to move forward together with you into whatever future we can build. Until then, I will keep holding on tightly to this connection, trusting that our souls know the way back to each other, that they will guide us home. Love in its truest and most authentic form is rarely one-sided or unreciprocated. And in your particular case, the love between you and your partner has always been genuinely mutual, flowing in both directions. They love you just as deeply as you love them, though their way of showing and expressing it has often been markedly different from yours. You are someone who gives love openly, freely, and wholeheartedly, holding nothing back. While they sometimes hold back significantly, struggling to express what is truly residing in their heart, unable to translate feeling into action.